Good morning. I am just getting ready to get all of my stuff packed because I have a busy weekend ahead. I have Hot Rod Rock and Rumble, I have PSCA, and so I'm going to be going between Pueblo, well kind of Pueblo, Fountain, and Bandimere. So that's a bit of a stretch, and so I want to make sure that I have all my stuff all ready to go so I know what I'm doing. So first things first, I have to get all my stuff done. And I basically thought that this was a great time to just show what's in my bag while I have everything all cleaned out and I get it ready to be packed. So let's go check it out. Okay, so you're gonna pack with me. I am getting ready to go to all these events this weekend. I have my stuff here. I try and lay it out so that I know what I'm doing and where to put it in my backpack and make sure that I have it. So I'm just gonna go through my quick little checklist on it. If you have any questions, please ask. I love them. I love to nerd out on this stuff, but I'm just gonna show you what I keep in my backpack, and I would love some new suggestions. This is the stuff that seems to work out for me really well, and we're just gonna go from there. So I always have my straps. I keep the two of them, my Peak Design straps, the big one for just about all the time so I can just like sling it on and not worry about it. And then the cuff, or the leash, the leash Peak Design one that I can just put on, get all super tight, and then do like rollers or just let my hand just flay in the wind. I don't know. It just, yeah, I love it. I love the colors of it, and I love the whole system of the Peak Design ones where you just click it on, and I think they're wonderful. I actually have it on my backpack as well where I keep it on, ooh, I keep it on my keys. So there's a part on my backpack that I can clip my keys to, so if I'm out and about, I can just put my keys on it and I don't lose them, and then they're not taking up space in my pockets. Because if you're a girl, you know how tiny our little pockets are. Rather ridiculous. But so my pocket space is something that I need to keep nice and tiny if possible, because that's where I have to have room. That's like where my real estate actually is. So keeping my keys on my backpack, all these little things, they just make my life 100% easier. Speaking of stuff that stays in my pockets, chapstick with SPF, because you're out in the sunshine, and that went a lot further than I expected it to. But chapstick with SPF, because these little suckers, they get nice and burnt being out in the sun all the time. Speaking of, I also keep this awesome sunscreen in my bag, my bag too. Things are getting wild here, people, I promise. Then I keep my little earplugs in so that I don't hear the crazy dee 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 dee, and it makes my life easier. Being able to shoot without having to try and cover my ears, and I just can focus on what I'm doing and not trying to cover my ears while trying to hold a camera. Maybe it just doesn't work out. Keep your earplugs in. Earplugs? Earplugs, yeah, that is what they are called. Keep your earplugs in, and it makes things awesome. I always have 1 to 2 of these external hard drives with me, because on my laptop, beautiful little laptop, I don't put any of my storage on there. Very few things actually go onto my desktop or the cloud on it. I back up everything to my hard drives, and then I keep everything else clear there. So that stays clear. Speaking of storage, we're gonna go for a little fun, stupid story. When I was at Cletus and Cars in Florida, I ended up losing both of the cards that I brought with me. It was so silly. I should have known better. I knew better. I stuck it in my pocket, thought like I'd swap it out when I got a chance, and then I lost it. And I didn't have any room on my other one, so I had to try and dump it to my computer in like a break area, and then I ended up losing that card as well, because I was just sitting in the car with it, dumping my card later, and I lost it. So to avoid that, I got more cards, and I always keep my holder with me at all times so that I do have extras and that these are safe. If I'm gonna swap one out, I immediately put it back in there. So I just change the way that I do things so that I don't lose stuff, which it still happens. And it drives my husband nuts. because I have to, because I don't have the little SD card reader on my computer. Chargers, batteries, AirPod. The other one, it's gotta be in some pants somewhere. Very typical Heidi. Ibuprofen, because you never know when you're gonna get a headache. Something hurts. Everything always hurts after these events, so that is a go-to. All of my chargers between my cell phone and my laptop and my car charger, because those are always things that I need all the time. Yes, always need a little microfiber. This one's just a little baby one, but I have those little ones with me all the time. Just keep my lenses clean. It's not getting any of those dust particles, keeping it clean so the shots and stuff stay nice and awesome. Now the fun part. What lenses do you use, Heidi? I get that question just about every time that I post a picture or I go to an event, like, oh, what did you shoot this on? And realistically, like, I shoot on whatever I feel like at the time. There's different reasons that I choose every single lens that I put on there. Whether it's I want to be at the start line, if I want to do some panning, if it's I want to do detail, or if it's dark outside and I need something that has that lower aperture. So speaking, I always have my 50 Nifty on me. It's a nice little cheap lens. It was one of the first that I bought. Maybe the first that I bought for my cameras as like that extra lens. It was cheap. It does great quality still. I love it. It's lightweight on it and it's not super heavy, so you can just move however you want with it, and you get people, you get details, you get just, it adds such a good compression with it too. Love that. Don't you dare, cat. Oh, you're such a brat. This is Thumper, and he is gonna help apparently. So meet my guest star, Thumper, and we're gonna go on to the next lens and pretend that he's not even there. My 85. I love shooting with an 85. I love shooting with it for people and for cars. I love combining the two with it. Honestly, I love prime lenses. I think they are just the best thing that you could ever have. I know the purpose of like telephoto and all that, but if I have a choice, I'm gonna choose a prime lens over everything else. Just the quality, the glass, everything is always so much better. So I shoot on my 85 a lot, especially if I'm just doing isolated cars, or I know that I don't necessarily need to be super close. I can be further back. I shot with that at Grid Life doing some of my panning shots, and those were so beautiful. I was so impressed that it made me love that lens again, because I pulled back from it for a bit. And now we have Everest. This is my baby. There is nothing that is as versatile as the 70-200. It's a 2.8. The glass is just so nice. You get everything that's just so crisp and clean, and it's just absolutely invaluable. Like, this has just been a game changer. I don't say that the Canon are just the best on it. I've shot on the Tamron for a bit too, and honestly that was such a fun lens, but changing and upgrading to the Canon ones, like, there's definitely that little bit of a difference between how sharp it focuses, how quickly it focuses, and it's perfect for drag racing photography. You can do stuff as people are coming up to the line, and then you can also do the panning stuff really awesome. You can zoom in if you're at the back of the line to the end to do detail shots with it. It's just such a versatile lens. It goes down to the 2.8, which for the most part, if you're shooting cars, I don't think you should go any further than that unless you're doing very, very specific things. There's no need for it to be any lower. So if I need any of that, I'll swap one of my prime lenses on it and get that really close, tiny, buttery aperture stuff. This cat, I swear, he's so crazy. I do have my tripod here, which it is set up with some lighting right now, but it's the Peak Design travel tripod. I didn't get the carbon fiber one because I didn't know if I would use it enough that extra money made a difference. I the weight, I can see how it would be super beneficial. That whole tripod, 100% love it, love it, love it. Could not love a tripod more. I think there's so many fun features about it. I actually have this out right now because I had my camera on it, but it has all these magnetic awesomeness. It closes really nice, it gets nice and tiny, it doesn't take up a lot of space, and it's just an awesome tripod. There is a whole much I could say about that. If you have questions on that, please, please, please let me know. Let me nerd out, because I don't want to make everybody all nerdy on the whole tripod video right now. But I could 100% nerd on that tripod because it's awesome. All the Peak Design stuff is actually really great. My backpack that I'm going to end up putting everything in is Peak Design as well, and it's wonderful. Ooh! Speaking of, this lens right here that I'm covering, that is the 24-105, and it's probably my least favorite lens. I love the idea of it, I love the width of it, and I forgot that I had it on my camera right now, but it's the 3.5 to 5.6, and unless I have a real need to be super wide, I don't use it. It's a great glass. The pictures, whenever I do use it, are so nice, but there's just that fluency between that aperture setting that when you're zooming in and it changes, that I just can't afford that for when I'm trying to do things so quickly with so many quick things. So if I'm standing still or if I'm in not a rush, I definitely love that lens, but it's in there for its purpose, not because I really like it. One question that I get asked all the time is, what are you shooting on? And I have such mixed feelings, because I love my camera. It's the 60 Mark II, and I think it is wonderful. It has been a workhorse for the past 2, almost 3 years now, so it's been going strong. And then there's this whole idea of like mirrorless cameras, and that's something I want to address in the future that I definitely need to try out. And I've played around with some of my friends' mirrorless cameras, and I can definitely see the benefit, and I can see how far the technology has come, so I'm really curious on that later. But right now I love my 60 Mark II. I really have this like attachment, I guess, to the like mirror part, although everything else like that comes with it makes everything so much heavier. But I don't know, like I have this romantic side with Canon and the lenses, and I don't know, I get a little weird. All right, I think that just about wraps up all the stuff that I have with me on a daily basis. It's really not much, and if I'm being honest, you really don't need a lot anytime that you're doing any of these. Like, you can shoot on your phone, you can shoot from a crop sensor, you can shoot with the kit lenses, and as long as you're like taking that time and like working on your craft, everything, none of this matters. This makes no difference at all. If you love what you're doing, you will find ways to make everything that you have and your equipment work for you. And it allows you to be more creative, and until you get to that point that you know what you need in order to be more successful in it, to improve your skills, or you've reached that cap, your freaking iPhones, like these suckers are fantastic. Absolutely fantastic, and it bothers me so much that they're so good sometimes, because I like my camera and I love having that, but like these are so good. All right, I'm gonna start loading this backpack up and getting ready for this weekend. Alright, and just like that, everything is packed and loaded in my bag, ready to go. I gotta go play with some cars this weekend, and I cannot wait. So thanks for sticking around. Peace out, and I will see you later. Bye! You're such a pain in my butt, but you're pretty.